Everyone. Next up, we have Gold79 Mines Ltd. It trades on the OTCQB under the symbol AUSVF and on the TSXV under the symbol AUU. And it holds 100% earn-in option to purchase agreements on 3 gold projects and is a TSX Venture and OTCQB listed company focused on building ounces in the Southwest USA. Welcome, its President and CEO, Derek Macpherson. Welcome, Derek. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you, Anna, for having me.
Good. We look forward to hearing your presentation. Take it away.
Thank you. Thanks for that lovely introduction. So Gold79 Mines Ltd. Is a Southwest U.S. gold explorer. And here you can see a picture. This is a picture of our Arizona project, Gold Chain. You can see some of the past production there. And we'll get more into that as we go through the presentation. We are a junior gold exploration company, and so we will make some forward-looking statements. We seek safe harbor. I'll let you read this slide at your leisure. So why invest in gold in AUU or Gold79 Mines Ltd? Our focus is on discovering the Southwest U.S. and the way we like to talk about our company and why it's different than some of the other Southwest U.S. gold explorers is that we believe we have multi-million ounce discovery potential. We have 3 significant projects in Southwest U.S., 2 in Nevada and 1 in Arizona. All 3 have over 100 historic drill holes, and those over 100 historic drill holes are coupled with multi-kilometer geochemical anomalies. And so we have big potential with evidence on surface and evidence in the ground that there is potential for large resources. Additionally, we have good grades. Again, the advantage of having historic drilling, we're not an early stage exploration company. We know that there's gold there. All 3 projects have turned economic to spectacular grades in that historic drilling. We have strong insider ownership. We believe in our own company. If you look at the SETI filings, myself, the CFO, or the chairman are regularly buying stock in the market. We own about 17% of the company between the management and directors of the company. And we're in top tier jurisdictions. The recent surveys show that Arizona and Nevada are 2 of the top mining jurisdictions in the world. And that's where our projects are located. A little bit about the company and the capital markets profile. Stock's a little bit lower than it was on April 1st, given the recent pullback. But we're about a $10 million market cap company, and we had about $500,000 in cash at the beginning of the month. And again, this shows that insider and institutional ownership that we have in what is a relatively small story. I think our team is unique, and it's certainly very good relative to the size of the company. Our chairman, Gary Thompson, runs another company called Brixton Metals, and has a long period of time in resource and junior mining stocks. Myself, I come from capital markets background, but I'm a metallurgist by training. And was an investment banker and a mining analyst prior to joining Gold79. Our VPX, Rob Johansing, we're looking for low sulfidation epithermal gold systems, and Rob spent the last 45 years looking for them as well. And so he's a great fit for our company and brings a lot of very good experience and has really helped put together the land package that we have. And then John McNeese, normally the small gold company wouldn't necessarily mention the CFO, but John's been with the company since the beginning, and having a steady hand like John's and knowing where everything is, and a lot of the legacy shareholders, historic shareholders have been with this company for a long time, is a real value add. Our directors, again, a solid board. James Franklin's been with the company for a very long time, Mining Hall of Fame geologist. Bill Boberg, former CEO of UR Energy, I believe presented earlier today at this conference. And then, balancing out that geology strength on the board, we have Paul Corella, who has more of a finance and private equity background and used to work with resource capital funds based out of Denver. So on to the projects. So 3 projects: Tip Top, Jefferson Canyon, and Gold Chain. All are in the Walker Lane trend. Walker Lane gold trend, and Gold Chain's in Arizona, and obviously Jefferson Canyon and Tip Top are in Nevada. We're going to start with Gold Chain, where we've done the most work recently, and we'll talk about Jefferson and Tip Top after that. So this is, again, that same picture of Gold Chain where it is. It's just over the Nevada border in Arizona, in Mojave County, which is a very mining-friendly jurisdiction, which really shows on this slide. And you can see sort of the other players around us. We're the black outline at the top of this page. You can see Elevation Gold Mining below us in the yellow, and they're about a 50,000 ounce per year producer. You have Gold Road, which most recently was a 25,000 ounce a year producer, and it's actually up for sale at the moment. You have the Secret Pass project here, which is another exploration project that has good exploration success. And you have Arizona Silver, which is our neighbors directly to the south, have had some really good exploration success recently. I always find it very interesting. They've had some good exploration success, basically in the same rocks that we're looking at. Their Arabian vein is very similar to our Tyro mine. And while we have 4 to 5 times the land package, they have 4 to 5 times the market cap. And so obviously there's an opportunity to re-rate Gold79 higher with some exploration success. So this is the Gold Chain project. We zoom in on our project itself. There is first we have where we've done a lot of our recent drilling, and where we're going to see the next news from the companies at the Tyro mine, and so which is this set of patented claims here. So just taking a step back, and if you look at the project, we have there's the large outline you see is all BLM claims that we hold, and then in this core of the project, as we call it, we have 3 sets of patented claims, and these 3 sets of patented claims are stuff that are claims that we worked on acquiring or doing deals on over the last year, and they really represent the core of the project. The reason they went to patents is that they were past producing mines or historic mines, mostly around the turn of the 19th century, or sorry, turn of the 20th century, so 1916 to 1918, that is the time period that they were mined. And so obviously good evidence of historic mineralization. It stuck out of the ground that they were looking for it then. So certainly a positive from that perspective. And that's where we've focused our work of late. And we'll get into the individual targets. In particular, well, actually, let's flip over to that core. So here we have the core of the project. So again, the outlines you see here are patented claims. We own the surrounding, we control the surrounding ground, which are BLM claims. And you can see some of the historic results. We ran a drill program last fall, had some very good numbers: 3 meters at 10.68 grams a ton, 13 meters at 2.56. Those are would be considered mine or economic and mine grades. You've got 21 meters at 2 grams a ton, right very close to surface here at the north end of Tyro. We've been doing some underground sampling at Tyro because it is a past producing mine, and those results will be coming out shortly. And then additionally, we've got Sheep Trail, which we acquired, which we finished the deal in January, but we have some very good sample numbers here: 51 grams a ton gold. That's almost 2 ounces at surface, 20 grams here just off that claim, and 31.3. So, significant evidence over significant strike lengths. I wouldn't want to underestimate. Tyro itself is 1 kilometer long. It's over 1 kilometer on Sheep Trail. And the Sheep Trail banner is over 1 kilometer long. And so big scale, we know we've got good grades. And so that's where we start thinking about that multi-million ounce potential. Digging into Tyro in particular, where we did that historic drilling. This is a long section, so looking across through the property below, and this is a cross section of one of the drill holes. But really, what you can see here is this is a 1 kilometer long target. The numbers are a little bit small, but we've got good grades on surface across that whole kilometer. And then now we've got great, and most recently put grades out in drilling north of 1 gram. And this is where that forward-looking statement comment comes in. If you start looking at, the average grade of our drilling was north of 1 gram, probably 1.5 grams. If you take a look, if you take that grade, stretch it over 1 kilometer and push it down to 150 meters, which is open pit depth, you would be pushing, plus 500,000 ounces and with the potential to go up to 1 million just on Tyro itself. And that's just one of our targets at the Gold Chain project. The other significant target where we want to, where our next drill program is going to focus is at Sheep Trail. Here you have some very good surface samples. There's some underground workings here that we've sampled, and we're expecting some. We've completed another sampling, more detailed mapping and sampling program here that results are going to come out from. And again, this is plus 1 kilometer of strike at some very good grades. And so we're looking to add to this. Looking to add more, have some news flow coming from Sheep Trail in the coming weeks once we get those results back. So this is this slide is some of the drilling that we did at that we've completed at Gold Chain. Again, 3 meters at 10.7 grams a ton gold. That's a very good intercept, economic grades, and 21 meters at 2. What to look forward going ahead? So the mapping and sampling we talked about. We have some results from Tyro that we're in the process of putting together a press release for. That should be out shortly. We've done some property-wide geophysics. And basically, these are structurally controlled deposits. And so basically, an effort to look through the ground and some of the pediment and see if there's other targets like Tyro or Sheep Trail on the property that we can identify. We're going to do some follow-up drilling at Tyro and Banner, where we have those good results that we drilled last fall. And we definitely want to do some initial drilling at Sheep Trail, where we've got those great surface numbers. I've always been of the view that any one of our projects could justify our market cap, and it's never more true than it was today. But here's another one that could justify our market cap in Jefferson Canyon. Jefferson Canyon is unique, and now this is a district that is very interesting. We are right next to the Round Mountain mine. Actually, the claims that surround us are effectively all Kinross's. Round Mountain produces about 300,000 ounces a year. It's a 20 million ounce deposit between what's mined and what's left, and it has about a 5 square kilometer footprint. Our Jefferson Canyon project has a 4 square kilometer gold and soil anomaly, so obviously a large, significant potential to grow. Additionally, drill hole GJ81 is 41 meters at 6.4 grams gold and 400 grams silver. And this was a historic drill hole that was drilled in the 1980s on the property. And so this is a spectacular drill hole. And so obviously this gives us a lot of positive view on what's there. And again, there's 145 historic drill holes drilled at Jefferson Canyon. And so this is not a greenfield exploration target. We know there's a big gold on surface. There's a large gold and soil anomaly, so gold on surface, and there's gold beneath the surface. Here are some of those drill results. And so, we see GG81, it's 41 meters, 6 grams gold, 400 grams silver. Also have, TJ5, which is 5 meters at 4.5 meters at 5 grams gold and 100 grams silver. And some pretty big silver numbers as well. GJ105, which is, 18 meters at 540 grams silver. And so some very good numbers from that perspective. And I think the difference, there is a zonation here at Jefferson Canyon. There's gold in some areas and silver in others in different ratios. And I think that'll explain why this project is still here and why the opportunity exists for us to find a multi-million ounce deposit here. This is the long section of Jefferson Canyon. And so this is basically, we've taken a slice down the Jefferson Canyon fault, which we believe controls the mineralization. And that'll be a little bit clearer in the next slide. And this is some of those 145 drill holes. The B zone is on the east side, and the A zone is on the west. And you can see it's open in multiple directions here. And as I get through the next slides, I'll show that. Very quickly. And you can see, so this is not a greenfields project. There is a significant potential for a resource here. And all the drilling, the historical drilling, is shallow. Most of the drilling is above 150 meters. There's a couple deep holes, and a lot of them end in mineralization. On the next slide, you can see this is the cross section. So taking that same, basically looking from the other direction through the deposit. And you can see some holes that were drilled along the fault, probably the wrong direction along the fault historically. And then some that were vertical holes should probably be drilled across mineralization towards the fault. But you can see here it's open at depth. The mineralization seems to stop at the Jefferson Canyon fault, and it continues to follow it down. And so there's a real opportunity to expand this deposit. The B zone is where that spectacular hole GG81 is located. And why do we think it's open? Well, we took that historic drilling, and we went and we did sort of boots on the ground surface work. So this is the gold and soil anomaly, and you can see the black dots represent the historic drill holes, and we'll call out some of the results here. But you could see the purple, which is the sort of the hot zones for gold, extend well beyond the drilling, both to the north here and then to the west. From the long section. Remember, that long section was cut across along that Jefferson Canyon fault, the blue line you see there. And the reason, though, that we think that this project was left in the late 80s when this work was done is people thought it was a silver anomaly. And if you look at this next slide, this is exactly what you see. You can see those black dots, a historic drilling is concentrated in the silver anomaly versus the gold anomaly, which leaves the possibility for it to be very open. So we're very encouraged by that and think that there's a significant gold deposit to find. And just briefly here on slide 22, you can see this is a slice of a CSAMT survey that was reprocessed. And what you can see is that you have a deep-seated structure that goes to depth, which is the Jefferson Canyon fault, but the historic drilling is only 150 meters, which is why we think it's open at depth. And lastly, very just briefly on our Tip Top project. Tip Top is also in Nevada. In an area where there are some historic deposits. Again, a project that has 154 holes and some very good drilling. You can see 18 meters at 21 grams, 18 meters at 8, 19 meters at 20. And we've identified a multi-kilometer gold and soil anomaly from our work. And so this is a 5-kilometer gold and soil anomaly in strike length. And so we think it's a good opportunity to expand and again has that big potential that we like to see. So what to expect next for us going forward? mapping and sampling results from Gold Chain, property geophysical results from Gold Chain. Hopefully this fall we'll be drilling at Gold Chain again, and then focusing. And at Jefferson Canyon, we're in the process of finalizing our permits there. Most of our documentation's into the Forest Service, and then hopefully the maiden drill program later this year. Expected to deliver the maiden drill program later this year. With that, Anna, I'll take some questions.
Awesome. All right, let's get right into it. We've got quite a few. Cindy Hernandez says, assuming your permits come in on time, what is the time frame to revenue and cash flow positive?
Yeah, so we're an exploration stage gold company, so that's a good question. The short answer to that question is it's probably several years. At this point, once we get the initial drill programs, probably 2 rounds of drilling at Jefferson Canyon and 2 to 3 at Gold Chain before we get to a resource, and then from there it's be economic studies and then permitting and then to cash flow and revenue. The advantage we have is twofold though. At Jefferson Canyon, the natural development path goes through Round Mountain, and so not having to permit a mill there certainly shortens that timeline. Additionally, at Gold Chain, having patented claims, remember I guess I had Peter from Silver Bullet on earlier, but he talked about patented claims as like your private property. In private property in the U.S., you have a lot more flexibility from a permitting perspective, so it shortens that permitting timeline. And we saw in Mojave County, both Elevation and Gold Road permitted very quickly when they went to production because they started on patented claims.
Jim Summers asks about, he doesn't see much debt on your balance sheet. So can you discuss any that you have?
There is no debt on our balance sheet. There's some few trade payables, and that's the extent of our liabilities.
Doug McGuire asks if the plan is to get acquired or keep growing. Do you have any joint ventures with any majors?
So the plan, I think the plan is to keep growing until we get acquired, and I think that's the opportunity. You have to threaten to advance it. So we're at a stage where we need to go find a resource, and that would be the next step. And so that's where our growth would come from, and then from there we would get acquired. On the joint venture side, we are talking to a number of parties, and obviously there is a natural joint venture partner at Jefferson Canyon. But I think we're keep being open to all options, and we certainly want to do a deal that makes sense for the shareholders of Gold79 Mines, which I'm a significant one, that we maximize the value for shareholders as we execute.
Jim Morgan congratulates you, says nice presentation. Also asks, can you consolidate your proven reserves for him?
We do not have, we're not, to remain 43-101 compliant, we do not have any resources on the books at this time.
Maurice Cannon asks, where are your production costs coming in at?
So again, as an exploration stage company, we are not producing. I wouldn't want to point to the producer to the south of us because they're on hard times as being a potential target, but or as a potential benchmark. But I think that's probably a little premature at this moment for our stage of development.
Okay. Rod Pittman asks if your current capitalization gets you to cash flow positive, or do you need to raise capital? And if you need to raise, how will you do it?
Yeah, so certainly it doesn't get us to being cash flow positive. We are going to need to raise money in the future. At this stage of the company, one way to raise capital in advanced projects is a joint venture, as one of the prior questioners suggested. So we would certainly look at that as an option. The other is to traditional equity markets, and I think at this stage, while we're not in the process of building something, traditional equity markets via private placement or otherwise is the right way to advance it. As you get closer to construction and get ready to build, I think that's when you can start looking at debt and other sources of financing.
Jerry Taylor asks, can you timeline your different properties to production?
Yeah, so it all depends what we're looking for. I think at Gold Chain we could be in production, as mentioned, we could be in production very quickly because of the patents. But it also depends what we're looking for. If we're looking for a small deposit that we can push into production and become a 50,000 ounce a year producer, then that timeline is much shorter, maybe in the 1 to 2 year time frame, versus probably in a longer time frame if we want to produce something, get something bigger that other companies would be more interested in. So the 100 to 150,000 ounce a year scale of production. And so that's a question that we have to answer with the drill bit initially. But so 2 to 5 at Gold Chain. At Jefferson, it's a little bit quicker because, as I said, there's a natural path through the Round Mountain infrastructure from our property, and so if the drilling proves out the way we expect it to, it could be 2 to 3 years, but it could be longer, depending on the path we choose to go on development there.
Rosie Jensen asks, how are you handling your burn?
So we're very conscious of our burn. Obviously, as an exploration stage company, we are not revenue positive. We're not generating revenue, and so that is something that we constantly spend time on and look at and make sure that we have money for the things that we need. You know, holding exploration ground in the U.S. is not cheap. It costs money, and so we have to make sure that we have those payments. So those are the basics, and then everything else on top of that is, you know, then our exploration work, et cetera. So that is how we manage it. It's something we pay very close attention to it.
Emma Rivera asks if you're seeing any supply or labor problems.
You know, we have you know, with a lot of junior exploration companies being funded, there has been a lack of laborers and drill rigs. The drill rig program we ran in the fall, we had to bring in a driller from Canada, northern Canada, to actually get the program done. And so that's been a challenge. And so, you know, it's just you have to really plan ahead to sort of circumvent those issues and make sure that you have the people in place to get the work done that you need.
Alejandro Paul asks if you're producing as a public company, do you plan to issue a dividend? Any talks about that?
When we get to that stage and we are producing, I would certainly look at a dividend. But I think we're a little premature to be discussing that at the moment.
And Ramiro Zimmerman says, what do you estimate your production costs will come in at? Do you have a plan? Gold has come down sharply over the past few weeks, so will the margins be enough?
Yeah, I would think, I mean, this is in the forward-looking statement category. This is a very forward-looking statement. Obviously, it depends on a lot of factors, but I would think that with our operations, you know, we would be looking at, generally speaking, you know, if we focus on gold chain, it would be an open pit heap leach type target. We have the grade and scale that we could be in the, you know, the $500 to $600 an ounce cash cost, probably all in the $900 to $1,000, and so we would have the margin based on other operations that are around. That is a really forward-looking statement. So I think we could get there, but you know, it is, like I said, it is very early in the process. But I think that's what sets us apart from other gold producers. We have grade close to surface, or other gold explorers, and what sets us apart going forward is that we do have grade close to surface, and that presents a lot of the opportunity for us, and why we're attractive to potential takeover as a potential takeover target.
Last question for you, Derek, from William Manning. Can you give us some highlights from your team's background?
Sure. Yeah, I think a couple of the key highlights are, if I look at obviously Jim Franklin, who's an active member of our board. He's in the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame, 40 years running the geologic service here, one of the geologic services here in Ontario, and he's a great geologic sounding board for us and our team. You know, Rob Johansson, who's our VPX, who's the guy finding the gold and has helped put together the land package and put together the vision on gold chain as an example. Rob spent 20-ish years working in El Salvador, finding a multi-million ounce deposit. Obviously, things in El Salvador went south, and he came back to the U.S. in a little more stable jurisdiction, and is just sort of repeating that system, same type of system, better jurisdiction to go find it in. And so I think that's pretty exciting.
It is exciting. Thank you so much for your time today. Great presentation. Please join us again in the future. We want to hear your updates, Derek.
Thank you very much, Anna. And thank you everyone for your time and listening to our presentation.
Wonderful. Okay, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back.